So this is Annabelle in Sydney.
And Sarah in Santa Rosa, California.
And this time we thought we'd look at freedom of speech and the Schumann resonance. So Schumann resonance went nuts.
Yeah. And that one of the things that happens with that is the elevating or increase of some of those ascension symptoms. So we're going to talk about that a little bit too.
Yeah, we haven't talked much about it. So how does it affect you? Because sometimes we all have slightly different, and some things are common.
Good golly, it can be crazy. I mean, sometimes it can be flu-like symptoms. I believe that a big part of the ascension is clearing out or removing a bunch of the old energy stuff. So that's like a detoxing, and you can have what feels like detoxing symptoms, low-grade headaches, low-grade fevers. I would say emotional clearing. So periods of time where you just have a lot of sadness or grief or fear. All of those things are stored in our systems, have been programmed into us from the old energy, and you have to process them out. What about you? What's the worst that hits you?
A lot of those things, I think. Sometimes, there's flu-like symptoms, or it might be a tummy upset where you can't eat, or whether I've heard of people going diarrhea and constipation. We've talked about diarrhea before, but also not being able to sleep or sleeping like a log. So, and I seem to bounce between the two as well. So I might have a night where I'll wake up, and it's like it's the middle of the day, and I'm awake, watching everything, and then other times I'll think, oh, I just really feel like a log. I really need to lie down in the middle of the day, and then I'm out of it, gone for 3 hours, and go, oh my God, there's things I was meant to be doing. So, but as you wake up, you realize you're just like a dead body. You're just so heavy and still. Don't lose your boobie there. That paw is going to whack you one.
Dog. Why are you being a pest?
And along with the emotional ones, I think, just suddenly feeling the need to cry, even though there's nothing going on. If you can find yourself some privacy and just let it out, burst into tears,
well, the secret
and then it's gone within a few minutes,
is don't try to figure out why.
No, just let it happen. And
when we sit here and go, why am I feeling this sadness? What's it coming from? Your mind will go, oh, let me see if I can find something for you.
Exactly.
And it'll dig up all the times in the past when you felt that way. And next thing you know, you're going through a bunch of old stuff you've already processed. And darling, would you like to step outside of the room?
No.
Yes. I think you will. I shall return.
So we're talking about, just allowing yourself to cry and not
trying to figure it out or even put a meaning to it. We talked about that a little bit. Yeah. What's your mind meaning? Just say, oh, instead of saying, oh, why am I having this? What's it about? Analysis. It's like, oh, here's some old stuff. It's on its way out.
And it's great to think of it that way too, because I've heard of some people saying, oh, just feel it and it's awful and it's horrible and then it will lessen. It's like, well, no, because that sounds like you can revisit it again. The idea is if you picture it bubbling up, this is a vessel, after all. This is a vessel that is used for the connection between the universe and the Gaia here. And that if you can allow that to bubble up and surface and dissipate, then you're not revisiting it. It won't come back. You let it out and you release it.
That's one of those fine lines, because you've got to be able to feel it, but it's just because a phrase that I use is feeling is healing a lot of times, but there's sort of a way that if you're bringing up old stuff and you're really trying to force it and you're coming up with all these pictures about it, you're adding to it, and that's not what you need to do. But if it comes up intense, feel it intense. That just it is what it is. There are, what I found is if I'm willing to feel it, usually it goes away pretty quickly.
Yeah, because you're not resisting it.
Right.
And
then
even and not depression. I don't seem to be getting the depression as much as I used to either. As there would be times when I'd feel really low and I'd go, all right, okay, I'm going to give this half an hour. I'm going to give this is really bad, I'm going to give it an hour. I'm going to lie down on the couch and go, all right, that's it. Okay, right, moving on. Okay. And you really, really feel it, and then that's it. We're done. But that seemed to have got shorter, and now it doesn't seem to happen much at all. There might be some sadness. And again, it's so tempting, isn't it, to go, oh, what's that all about? No need. Just feel it. And then let it move on. Yeah. What other ones are there? What ascension symptoms are there that we've missed?
One thing that I think is interesting is the way our senses are changing. The sense of smell can get super elevated. Your hearing, people can get tinnitus, and
lots of buzzing and ringing. Yep.
Temporary periods of time when you hear things that you don't think are really there, or feel like you're not hearing well. Your sense of taste can change. Food that you've historically really enjoyed cannot taste good anymore. Sense of smell is a big one for me because I have a really high olfactory skills or abilities. I smell a lot. And
thank God you're on Skype.
So that's been one weird for me, because I'll just be going, whoa, ooh, do you smell that? Oh, right here. And everybody's going,
no.
I don't know what you're smelling, but I'm not smelling it.
Some of it's overwhelming, isn't it?
Yeah. And like you said, sometimes you're hungry and sometimes you can't eat at all. And just, go with it. I think one of the biggest challenges or lessons to all of the Ascension Symptoms is just being okay with it being the way it is.
Yeah.
That's sort of loving what is.
We've got to watch out for there's plenty of people out there trying to give advice on what you should be doing, what you should be eating, and all these sorts of things. They can be helpful, but don't assume that they know what you need. So if you're happy eating meat, if it doesn't bother you, that's fine. If you're happy with that and you're comfortable with that, then keep eating it. But if it suddenly tastes disgusting, then don't force yourself to eat it. You'll see a whole lot of people that are going vegan. Well, if you still like meat, then it's not like you have to be vegan. But if you find that it makes you feel better, well, then do that. So, you've got to tune into what you need is really important, I think.
And also break the rules.
Yeah, don't put a label on your forehead that this is what you are now.
Yeah, and the food rules, the behavior rules, all those strict limitations. We're busting free from all of those things, and we have to do that in order to develop that really solid communication alignment with our divine self. Let's say.
Yes.
I don't like to call it the higher self. Have we had this conversation? Well, I'll just tell you anyway. Just say it again anyway. My memories of being in Atlantis and having been invaded and them using this device that caused intense over-the-top amount of pain without causing physical damage, and remembering having my divine self, what people call higher self, popping out of my body and being above it because it just couldn't stay in there in that much pain. And it was deliberately done that way, and it made me a nice little, programmable little mind control slave. But so I think that it was not originally intended, let's say, on this planet for us to be separate from that part of ourselves, from our soul, from our divine self. And so when you say higher self, to me, it just reinforces that it's separate.
Okay.
Right? It's up there.
Fair enough.
And then we do all this stuff where, we're trying to go up, and that means that down is bad, and that gets applied to our chakras, where the first 3 chakras are bad chakras, and the 4 above are the good chakras.
I don't know, that second chakra is pretty good to me.
You would.
Naughty. Yeah. I think, I like higher self, the word, but I think I kind of see it like this, like a tapering that comes down to the feet. What's that meant to be? The star chakra or something, somebody says. The connection with earth, but then we go from the physical body up into a bigger space. So it's still connected in my eyes, and that's tuning in on a regular basis. The best way I've found is to write a letter to myself, my big Annabelle. What do you think of this? And then I'll just wait, and then I can type out the answer. I seem to be able to do that better than hear it or see the images at the moment. I know all of those skills are there and available and can be developed, but at the moment writing seems to be the quickest method for me on that. So
yeah, everybody has their own way.
We all do. Yeah.
I'm really visual. I'll see images, I'll see shapes or scenes or things like that I've come to develop a language of what certain things mean when I see them, for instance. And other people hear things, like you said, or they need to process it through their body, a moving type of thing, like writing would be.
Yeah.
And some people have a sense of, I would just say, knowing.
Yeah.
It's not
I like that one because it's clear, right?
Right. It's not something coming to you as a communication. It's just there. You just know it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wonderful things to develop.
It is, yeah. The hearing one is funny. At one point I was getting very frustrated that I just kept missing the cues or disobeying the cues that I was given. So I said, right, you have permission, you lot up there, not just one, I'm sure, to yell at me, to repeat, to push me in the right direction or whatever. Just go ahead, all right? If I'm being dumb and I'm not picking it up, you are allowed to continue on and push me until I get it.
How's that worked out?
Well, sometimes it's funny. Sometimes I get a scream. Like, yes! Oh, okay, all right, yes, all right.
Can you give an example? Can you think of an example?
Get my car, I think. So I don't buy and sell cars very often. And I was out looking for a new car, and I knew specifically what I wanted. I had it all worked out exactly. And it took a while, like 2 or 3 months, and then I saw it. I was like, okay, that looks right. So then I went out to test drive it, and it was just that little lack of confidence, like, I'm not sure. And the guy was acting a little bit suspicious. It turned out that he was just not very trusting. It was fine. He looked after this car beautifully. But as soon as I got in and we just started driving, and we were heading towards a main highway so I could drive a bit faster. And I just got this, yes! I almost like, oh, God, all right, well, we can turn around and go back. I've got the decision now. I've got the answer. No, God, no. Then I'm thinking, so it's a bit like that when I was telling you about Brasso, when I was standing in the audience, like ready to leave the room because he's already given me the answer. It was like that. I'm like, oh, I can finish now. I've only been in the car for 2 minutes. No, it's all right. I'll buy it. No, don't do that. He'll be suspicious. No, I'll go along the highway. So I'm like, driving along, trying to ask questions, and I'd already decided I was going to buy the car. So, that's kind of funny because it's so clear. It's crystal clear. And I love that. But obviously it's not always that way. Sometimes it's just subtle. It's like a whisper in the ear. Say this to him. He'll like it.
Well, so, I don't get the words so much. But that sounds fun. Occasionally I've heard like a specific phrase or something. I can't think of an example right now that is just like, da-da-da, do this. I was like, oh, wow, okay.
Wow, I like your sexy voice. Yeah. So all the second chakra. Yeah. Got it turned on today. So I guess the Ascension symptoms come and go. Like, people can feel them. Oh, my goodness, yeah, how exciting, it's happening. And then it disappears again, and you think, oh, am I not ascending anymore? I mean, it does seem to be in little steps that we go up.
Right.
So if it goes quiet, it doesn't mean you've gone backwards. We don't ever go backwards. It just
and there's
means
also
you've got there. You passed that little test,
phenomenon of splash out.
Yes.
So
we have talked
what
about
that is I don't think we have. So here's your vessel.
Because you showed us the beautiful glass with a huge crystal in the middle of it.
Oh, yeah, I
Remember
did.
that?
That's right.
Gorgeous.
So if your vessel is full, just real quick, if your vessel is full of old water from before, your old stuff, and if you get a beautiful bright gem dropped into it, old stuff splashes out. And in the ascension process, those bright gems are those moments of real clarity and feeling connection to the universe or to your divine self, higher self, whatever you want to call it. And those type of things are those gems. So that when you say it's like up and down, because you'll have those aha moments. And they'll often be followed with the splash out, which is the opposite.
Yeah.
Which would be
Tantrums,
those clunk moments.
Crying. Yeah. Screaming.
Hopelessness. You
Yeah.
know, when the big whoosh of hope comes in, what can splash out, of course, is hopelessness. Right. So as a hint, when you have a sense of feeling a negative emotion, you can ask, have I recently felt the opposite?
Lovely.
Now, that's what's really brilliant about that, is that really helps you to stay out of the, oh, why am I feeling this way, and starting to process it. Just like, oh, this is splash out from that. On its way out. Yay. Yay.
Best way to visualize it. Yeah, that's good. So that's pretty much Ascension Symptoms, isn't it? Now we'll have a look at freedom of speech.